What's up everybody, back with another video for you. As you can see, this is going to be another NFL 2K video. Just like last time, I'll have some 2K5 playing in the background, and throughout the video I'll have some overlays. But anyway, let's jump into the topic. So today I have a pretty interesting topic for all of you, and it's this. NFL 2K6. Yes, the sequel that never was to NFL 2K5. Now why talk about this, you ask? Well, NFL 2K5 was released in July 2004, and EA didn't sign the exclusive deal with the NFL until December 2004. So during those 5 months, 2K, or Sega I should say, had to have been working on something, right? However, no information about this has ever surfaced, at least to my knowledge. I've never seen any leaked screenshots or anything close to that. And to me that's surprising because you'd think a disgruntled employee would leak something to spite the NFL, but nothing ever happened, perhaps for legal reasons. So since we're left guessing on what NFL 2K6 would have looked like, I thought why not make a video talking about what it may have been like. So let's not waste any more time and just get right to it. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the cover athlete. Who would have been on the cover of NFL 2K6? Well, the only fan-made custom cover I found was this one, which features Brett Favre. Brett Favre is an interesting choice because he actually had a good year in 2004 and led the Packers to a division title. And this was also around the time his retirement drama began. So it very well could have been Brett Favre. Another choice is Peyton Manning. Manning had an MVP season in 2004 and broke Dan Marino's record for passing touchdowns in a season, so it could have been him as well. It also could have been Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger had an unbelievable rookie season going 14-0 in the regular season and also won a playoff game, so it could have been Big Ben. Now my last guess may surprise you, but it's this guy, Terrell Owens. Yes, Terrell Owens. Even though he was on the cover of NFL 2K5, he had an electrifying season with the Eagles in 2004 and was probably the best receiver in the NFL at this point. Plus, Sega had a history of using the same cover athlete more than once. They did it with Randy Moss and Allen Iverson multiple times. So I think it's very possible it could have been T.O. again. So that does it for who the cover athlete might have been. Let's switch focus to platforms. Which consoles or platforms would NFL 2K6 have been on? Well, we know it would have been on the PS2 and original Xbox, but could it have been on anything else? One edge Madden 2005 had on NFL 2K5 was it was available on so many more platforms. So would Sega have stepped up and made sure 2K6 came out on the GameCube or PC? Perhaps. By the way, one major thing to consider is that NFL 2K6 might have been released on the Xbox 360, which was next gen at the time, because Madden 06 came out on the 360 that year, so it's very possible 2K6 would have as well. And that's just heartbreaking to think about. We were so close to getting a next gen NFL 2K game. By the way, I know some of you are way more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. I learned that when I was reading the comments on my last NFL 2K video, so you might already know the answer to all this console stuff, but I'm just throwing it out there anyway. Moving on. Let's talk about the title. Would it have still been called ESPN NFL 2K6? Remember, after EA got the NFL license, they also nabbed the ESPN license. And you can bet this was done to hurt Sega, not to actually improve EA's game. But if EA never got the exclusive NFL license, would they have even bothered getting the ESPN license? I say they probably wouldn't have, so 2K6 probably would have been called ESPN NFL 2K6. But enough talking about the external stuff. What would the actual game have looked like? Let's talk about that. Now, to get help with this, I did a custom Google search using only results from 2004, and that helped me find a pretty interesting Operation Sports forum where people were talking about what they wanted to see in NFL 2K6, and here are some of the things people were asking for. The ability to edit a player's position. I can relate to that one because I'm a Browns fan and it always bugged the hell out of me that Steve Hyden was listed as a fullback in 2K5. The dude was a tight end. That always pissed me off. Improved awareness for defensive backs. I think all 2K5 players can relate to that one because how many times do DBs bobble the ball 5 times on a play and look absolutely clueless? Improved animations for quarterbacks that are running. I know exactly what this guy means. In 2K5, every quarterback had weirdly fast-moving feet when they scrambled, and they didn't take big enough strides. It just looked pretty weird. Improve the playoff atmosphere in franchise mode. I agree with this one. As far as I remember, when you're in the playoffs, the only difference is the announcer would say, it's the wild card round, or it's the divisional round, but the stadium atmosphere doesn't feel any different, so that could have been improved upon. Make the halftime show even better. One user suggested showing highlights from other games around the NFL instead of just highlights from your own game. Another user pointed out that way too often Chris Berman will say, Team X should be way ahead on the scoreboard, but somehow they've let their opponent hang with them. Any 2K5 fan will tell you that line is ingrained in their head. Now I could go on and on all day because this forum is 11 pages long, but to save time I'll just share one more, and it's defense. 2K5 just wasn't on the same level that Madden 2005 was on the defensive side of the ball. It just didn't offer enough and was kind of boring at times. Madden 2005 introduced the hit stick, which was probably the coolest defensive invention ever at that point, so hopefully NFL 2K6 would have improved defense. So I'm done reading the forums now, but one thing I just thought of myself is the ESPN 25th anniversary mode. This is basically what Madden Moments was. It's a game mode where you pick up from a certain point in a classic game from the NFL's past, and some of the ones in 2K5 were very recent, like we're talking 2003. So which moments from the 2004 NFL season would have been in here? I can think of two. One is the ending to the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl. Maybe you'd be Donovan McNabb and you'd have 20 seconds to get the Eagles into field goal range. Another moment might be the Steelers-Jets playoff game. That was the one where the Jets kicker missed 2 field goals in the final 2 minutes. So those are 2 examples off the top of my head. Now, last thing I'll mention about the inside of the game is I bet they would have scrapped first-person football. That whole thing was an experiment, and while it was cool to play once, it didn't have much replay value, and it's kind of been mocked as the years have gone by. So I'm willing to bet NFL 2K6 would not have had first-person football. I think Sega would have admitted defeat on that one. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this part of the video. That's my best guess as to what ESPN NFL 2K6 would have looked like. I'm not sure if it would have been $20 again, but I'm fairly certain it would have been better than Madden 06. That much I can say. Now before I end this video, I would like to briefly touch on the upcoming NFL 2K game. As most of you have heard, EA recently signed a 6-year extension with the NFL, so all that hype about NFL 2K returning in simulation form was all for nothing. Once again, we'll be forced to suffer through at least another half-decade of Madden, and quite frankly, I'm pissed and fed up. I'm done ever getting hopeful about this topic. I'll be 31 by the time this deal expires, so it just passed me by. I'll be way too old to really enjoy NFL 2K like I could have if I was 16 or something. But on the bright side, 2K does have the rights to the NFL logos and team names. They just can't make a simulation game, so at least they can make something, which hasn't been possible in the past. Now, a lot of people have been speculating about what the new 2K game is going to look like, but I have a really good idea for what it should be, and here it is. Make it a 7-on-7 game that takes place in a playground setting or in settings similar to NFL Street. Have the players dressed in street clothes, but make the player models look very realistic and not cartoonish. Like, I want Baker Mayfield to look just like Baker Mayfield, I want Nick Chubb to look just like Nick Chubb. And make the gameplay very realistic, just like NFL 2K5. Because as long as it's 7-on-7 and it doesn't take place in a stadium, I think that would be legal. I know it would be the closest we would get to a simulation game. So if anyone from 2K is listening, please give this serious consideration because I think that could be a way around everything, and I'm willing to bet it would please a lot of NFL 2K fans. I could be wrong, leave a comment below telling me what you think. Anyway guys, that's going to end this video. I decided to do this little part at the end because I didn't want to make a whole separate video about it. By the way, I hope you haven't already forgotten about the first part of this video, NFL 2K6. That was the whole motivation for this video, so I hope most of the comments are still about that. But yeah, that's going to do it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, please follow me on Twitter, and please consider supporting me on Patreon. Until next time, I'm Ramen Robbie, and thanks for watching.